What's going on, guys? It's Karth, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. First things first, I want to apologize for the lack of videos recently. I've been extremely busy IRL, and I really appreciate the support you guys have given over the past couple weeks. I've gained quite a new subscriber base, and I do appreciate that. Thank you for the support. It means a lot to me. Today, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a tier list, ranking all of the TBC raids. Obviously, this is my personal opinion, so don't think to yourself this is exactly how good or bad the raid is. This is just my personal opinion, and I will go by phase, so what comes out each phase, and then I'll rank them in that order. So starting off with Karazhan Slayer. Karazhan Slayer, I'm actually going to put this in A tier. A lot of people have bad opinions about Mag Slayer. I think the boss is like a solid boss. I think it actually presents a very cool dichotomy that actually exists pretty heavily in WoW Classic, which is kind of like there's ways to do bosses that some people would consider kind of cheesy, and I think that's a fine opinion to have. But for more performance-oriented players, it's kind of a neat way to like parse and min-max. So with Mag Slayer, I remember in particular, like, people call it like chain cubing, which was just essentially like being able to chain cast the cube mechanic and just consistently have the DPS increase on him with Lust, and we're able to just absolutely slam damage. It was super cool, super fun. I enjoyed that. And I think it's a solid boss. I think it's the hardest boss in tier 4, and it presents kind of a neat, solid capstone challenge to the phase. And yeah, that's Mag Slayer. Now Gruul Slayer, on the other hand, I'm gonna put Gruul Slayer in C tier. I really had issues with the Gruul Slayer for a couple of reasons. First off, High King Mulgar. For some reason, the way the boss was logged, the way that you parse stratted that fight, you had to just full single target the boss, then kind of did whatever with the ads, because for some reason boss combat would end when he died, so logs couldn't detect it any other way. So it was just how much damage you did to that boss in particular. So that was kind of annoying, and it felt like, to me, that feels a little bit cheesy because boss combat is coded kind of poorly, and so you have to like just cheese single target and ignore everything else. And I thought the fight was kind of whatever, and then also Gruul, I think, is kind of a annoying fight with Shatter because like you're kind of at the mercy of other players as well as a little bit of RNG. I've definitely seen some very strange throws happen with Shatter. And then also the fact that you're farming Gruul Slayer for at least 3 phases, if not longer, because of Dragonspine Trophy. And especially as a caster, that could get a little bit excessive and annoying to deal with. So, yeah, wasn't the biggest fan of Gruul Slayer. Karazhan is also going to go in A tier. I know a lot of people that are going to put Kara in S tier. I think Karazhan is a great experience to play with friends on like an off night. Even in phase 1, the raid really wasn't that hard. The only hard fight was Nightbane, and even that was pretty comp dependent. If you had like if you had like 2 to 3 warlocks in the raid, it was kind of easy in my opinion. But still a good raid. Like I said, very fun experience on like an off night to do, like maybe have some drinks with some friends and just hang out, do some WoW Classic raiding, and that is the perfect raid for that. It's awesome. Moving on to phase 2, we have SSC and TK. The first one I'm going to rank is SSC, and SSC is going in S tier. I absolutely love Serpentine Cavern. I think the way that the raid paces, especially for something like speedrunning, is awesome. I think the Vosh encounter is just it's a very cool sort of moving pieces fight. It's a great like skill expression fight. depending on like how hard your guild kind of goes with like thorning seed baits for the spore bats, killing the spore bats obviously, not rooting the striders so melee can have uptime on it, stuff like that. Yeah, a big fan of SSC. I think it's an awesome experience, and I can't wait to see it again. Now TK on the other hand, TK is going in B tier. I kind of want to put it in C tier, but I think for the sake of like, I think Solarian's an okay fight, and I think Kael'thas cinematically is very cool. I think the boss is a little bit clunky in like modern day raiding, but I think it's an okay raid. But the problem with TK is the trash. TK trash is kind of really irritating. I remember having to go farm magic dust for CC for some of the trash because of whirlwinds and polymorphs and mind controls and blah blah blah. It was just kind of annoying, and the trash hit really hard, and as a caster player I had to watch my raid frames get absolutely murdered by whirlwind casts in melee, and I was just like, okay. This is just does not feel like a very fun experience. Cinematically, or aesthetically, excuse me, one of the coolest raids, honestly. Like TK aesthetically is S tier, absolutely, but like functionally, not so much. And then moving on to probably one of the most polarizing experiences, which was phase 3, which was BT and Hyjal. So BT first. BT, I'll probably put BT in A tier. I could have put it like high B tier, but I think Black Temple is better than TK. Black Temple, in my opinion, is kind of like what you make of it. The raid is not difficult. There's a lot of kind of like tank and spank target dummy bosses that don't really do anything. So that's kind of, that knocks a little bit of points off. But the other hand of that is kind of the loot pinata argument. Like there's a lot of bosses that you just go in and smash and you get easy loot. The council fight in BT is very good. I really like the council fight. Illidan is very cinematic, and for RP nerds, myself included, it's very cool. So, and then obviously like glaives dropping, stuff like that, people get hype. But overall, I don't rank Black Temple as like an absolute top tier raid. And the reason I say it's what you make of it is because if you're like blasting and pumping the whole raid and you're kind of like chugging through it, it feels good. Like I feel like it's pretty solidly placed if you're doing that. But if you're kind of like slogging through it and kind of like, you know, dragging your feet a bit, it turns into like a 2.5-3 hour experience of slowly going from boss to boss to boss, and that just, to me, that doesn't feel that much fun. And I'm not even like, I'm not particularly sure like where I'll be in terms of speedrunning and stuff like that. In TBC, like I'm not even talking speedrunning per se, but like with a raid with that many bosses, Naxx is a good example. With a raid with so many bosses, the slower you go, the more frustrating the raid feels, in my opinion. Moving on to Hyjal, yeah, no, absolutely not. just absolutely an atrocious raid. Oh my god. Even by the standards of raiding back then, I mean, like, compare Hyjal to like TK or SSC or Black Temple. Like, what is going on here? This trash wave style. I mean, as a Warlock player, it was frustrating for multiple parties in this raid, because I knew warriors that wanted to play the game that really didn't have much to do on certain trash waves because like their target capped, and so they're kind of just like not really doing that much. And then the mages and warlocks are sitting there like have to be locked in so that we can actually kill this stuff. But then there were like hunters that, you know, could basically just AFK the trash and then wake back up for the bosses, and the raid would still go fine. But like overall, just absolutely atrocious. Hated Hyjal. I heard people hated it in 2007 when TBC first released. People hated it in 2021, and people are not gonna like it in 2026. It's just not fun. Yeah, sorry that was a little bit of a rant. Just not a fan of that raid. Oh man, Zulaman. I almost want to put it in S tier. Yeah, let me actually do this. Yeah, I think that's good. Actually, I like that. ZA is another good example of why I think 10-mans were very cool and a great idea of how they executed them in TBC. I think in Wrath of the like separate gearing style was kind of excessive a little bit, especially in Ulduar. But with Karazhan and ZA, well, with ZA and just for ZA, pretty short raid, cool experience. A little bit more towards the side of like what you make of it, because I think in Kara you can kind of be like chillin' and you'll still kind of go fast because everything kind of just melts a little bit. I think the raid is very easy in Kara compared to ZA, where I think stuff can still kill you, particularly the second to last boss, if I remember correctly, can be kind of a pain. So you have to like still be kind of, everybody has to be kind of locked in a little bit, but still a good experience. 10-man rating in general is a more chill environment, and people can kind of hang out, do whatever, and snag some nice gear. But yeah, good raid, ZA. And then finally, Sunwell Plateau. S tier. Absolutely. Oh man. Sunwell. What a great raid. Honestly, I've heard some conflicting opinions on this about like people's experiences in Sunwell, whether it be a caster not walking out with Conflag on Twins, or the tank dying on Caligos, or burn spreading on Brutalis, you know, whatever it might be. But honestly, between the gear being so broken and absolutely watching your character ascend to new heights in Sunwell, between that and the raid difficulty, I think, being almost perfect for Classic, I think Sunwell presents a really solid challenge to Classic players while also maintaining the Classic feel. I think in Wrath, it started to move a little bit away from the Classic feel, whereas in TBC, particularly in Sunwell, the challenge still felt within the Classic realm. And I think that's just awesome. But yeah, guys, that's my WoW Burning Crusade raid tier list video. Super hyped for TBC release. Can't wait for it. I'm gonna be playing a bunch of different classes. I'll be able to make content through different lenses of different characters, and I think that'll provide with great PvE content for this channel. TBC hype train. And thank you guys for subscribing and sticking around with the channel. I'll try to be a bit more consistent with uploads. I think work is kind of easing off a little bit here in the coming weeks towards the holidays, so should have a bit more free time for that. And thanks again for the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.